It's a one-way ticket to just losing control of your population, if that's what they want.
But the same people that complain about it are the same ones that comply. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
They'll still do it.
Do you know, what are we talking about today?
I don't know, but I'm going in with it. I'm going in with that.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Going in with the COVID passports.
That's it. Our number one ranked podcast is now last. We've said COVID.
Yeah, we're going to get shadow banned.
Do you think that happens?
Let me get my coffee.
Well, that was a thing for ages. Like I was watching podcasts and people would deliberately say, you know, the thing you've got to put in your arm at the moment, rather than like.
Yeah, my Instagram was getting proper shadow banned during when I was like every day posting about it.
But it was just when you're not going with the narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you could post about it, but not like against it.
Yeah. Nice, wild. And for this holiday that you're going on tomorrow, what does that require?
Yeah, so I'm going to Mauritius tomorrow. Tonight, 9 p.m. actually.
Mm-mm.
I'm double vaccinated. I have had.
Can I just stop you there and ask you what vaccine you had, and has it worked for you?
Yeah, with the Pfizer, I've not had COVID yet, so.
Bridgman 10 for discount.
Yeah, Bridgman 10 for discount.
Is the you had the Pfizer one? That's
yeah, I chose the Pfizer one based off what's come out over the last couple of years. I took it because career-wise, it made a lot of sense, right? It made a lot of sense. I got to go to America. America's not a place I want to fuck with because once you fuck up in America, they don't let you back in, and that's where let-in period. So I want to be careful. But I'm double vaccinated. I've had to do a PCR test on Monday. I've got to do an antigen test when I land on day 2 and day 5. I've got to do a PCR test 2 days before I leave, and I have to do a PCR test 2 days after I arrive, and I'm fully vaccinated.
How much of that is based on our restrictions, and how much of it is Mauritius?
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 antigen tests that I have to just do in the hotel that they provide for free, that's Mauritius based.
So,
and then all of the PCR tests to leave before I get back and when I land is all UK, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a PCR test, it's not the antigen or a lateral flow.
I don't think they're that strong on it. I mean, when I come back from Marbella the second time, it was nothing. They rang me once, and that was
for
it.
sure.
I still got my COVID test sitting there just for a rainy day. It's wild.
should we welcome everyone back to the podcast? We've had a 2-week hiatus.
Yeah.
We haven't. You won't know it, but we've not recorded for a couple of weeks because we've been backing up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're still going to get one a week.
We've been backing up our episodes. But welcome back. We don't really know what we're going to talk about today, but we're going to start with a few current themes.
Current affairs.
That are probably not anything to do with bodybuilding, but I'm sure we'll come back to it at some point. But first, Tom, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm not regretting the Vlogmas idea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're 8 days in. 8 videos. It's more videos you've done in the last 8 months.
We're all right. We're good.
I'm not regretting it, but
I'm not regretting it, but I'm thinking, cool. It's a bit tough. It's all right. It's not bad. I've got to a point where I'm making notes for future videos just to, because on the days that I'm not doing anything, I'm like, so I've just today's video is the mukbang. So I bought all the Christmas festival items from McDonald's.
mukbang.
Mukbang.
Oh, mukbang.
Mukbang.
As an MUK bang.
You not heard of what?
It's like order everything on the menu.
You not heard of what it's called?
And just sit and eat. And
It's not necessarily associated just with McDonald's. It's just called mukbang. It's massive.
Yeah.
Oh, right. No, I have heard the word mukbang before, but in my head I'm saying MUKBANG.
That's what it's supposed
Yeah,
to be.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that.
But you're saying mukbang, as in MC bang.
Me.
Tom.
How's it pronounced?
Mukbang.
Oh, muck.
Like the Pokemon.
Oh, I thought it was like McDonald's.
Yeah, that's
We made it the mukbang.
Yeah, yeah. And,
right. So you're going for the mukbang today?
Got an order from.
You've done it.
Did it yesterday. It's going up. Very good, very tasty, man. The mince pie and custard combination in the pie is good. You see the video if you. Do you know what I mean? Connoisseur of food. And then I got like I thought I'd do like a Christmas. Get ready with me. I got a Novu order coming today, and it's going to be titled like Christmas party ideas for men. That'd be a good one. Then I got a few like best mince pies, best Christmas sandwiches.
Right.
Yeah.
But come 25th of December, I'm done, mate.
That's all right, mate.
Is that when it
17 days to go.
Hope so. I'm not doing New Year,
I
mate. The period between 25th of December and 1st of January, or 30th of January, 30th of December is wild. There's nothing going on.
Yeah. Limbo.
No idea, yeah. No idea.
But it's all right. I've made my routine. I got my routine. I get up at like 5, 6 and edit the previous day's footage top load on the same day. So it's not too bad.
And TikTok? How's TikTok going?
Great. It's good, man. I've only got like sub 4K followers, but the reach and engagement's incredible.
It is.
Did one yesterday. Like just, the Coney Island.
Bing bong.
I love it, man. I thought, It's rainy. Must do something to make myself feel better. Get the dog involved. I want to hit 100k.
Yeah. So that I saw you do it because obviously you were showing me this Bing Bong thing last week, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And you showed me, and I thought that was good. This morning I woke up and saw Lil Nas X do it at like the Something Awards. He got like Jack Harlow involved.
Oh,
it was
that.
fucking well.
Oh, really?
So I was like, you've jumped on it at the right time because now I'm seeing loads of people do it.
Yeah, it hit like 15k within a couple of hours. So with things like that, I think TikTok, you just have to be current.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah. I really want to learn that Madison dance, but I just don't think I've got it in the locker.
Madison. Yeah.
I never been with a buddy.
Yeah, I don't know if we could do that though.
It's calm, so I added to the tally.
I think we could all three. I think all three of us could do it as a joke.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do that on mine because there'd be an element of this guy's taking it seriously, and I am.
Oh yeah, you'd want to be good at it.
Do you know what I mean? Because I've considered myself a decent dancer, to be fair.
I remember the one time that we were all I was doing a 2C slide for years. That was 2019. That was.
Oh yeah.
And we were all waiting on the TM cycles drop, and you went full send. You had the jacket on,
everything,
head to toe.
Your one with your mum did well.
Yeah. Cup on.
That's because your cock was out.
Did all the comments. He's bouncing at me. I wasn't wearing underwear.
But that's
a big mistake.
That's clever because girls do it. Because I did like home improvements one with my kit off. That got a good response.
What?
Not naked, just top out.
Okay. Oh,
like
just the top off.
Man with drill with top off in it. It's good.
Okay. Very masculine.
Very, very masculine. But yeah, I'm enjoying TikTok. It's great. And it's nice to not have to be so anal about like quality. Like, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes down to filming stuff, and this is why this Vlogmas has been a bit hard because I'm like, oh shit, I have to, what I mean.
Your Coney Island one though, the lip syncing was really good. I will congratulate you on that because I've watched some of them.
Oh, I don't like
yours is very good.
How are people looking back at their TikTok and going, because it's not yet. It's terrible. And the whole point of that app is you're supposed to be on the money with that at least.
What did you do? Just watch the video like 10 times, memorize it, and then go in? And
on TikTok you can do the countdown, can't you? It's a self timer. So
but you knew the words were coming.
Oh yeah,
up,
I knew that. But then you have to go a step further because like when he says, "Come on, baby, take me to dinner," you have to kind of get the wispy. You can't just say it in an English accent because it don't link up. And like Coney Island, Brooklyn kind of accent, so a bit of a slanted mouth. So yeah.
What's next? What have you got lined up?
What, on TikTok?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've got into a little routine of doing like the unboxing of the advent calendar, but then it was like a little treat after dinner, so I need to start doing that again. But I don't know. Like I said, I think it's just staying current with TikTok.
Yeah, just jump on the.
It is a trend.
Stitches do quite well, didn't they?
Stitches do well. It kind of just depends on the niche you're trying to go for. Like for me, like a stitch works because I just fucking go see someone lift and reply to what they're lifting and how they can improve it.
Yeah,
and the goal there is to click on something that's got a lot of views already because it's proven in the algorithm to get a lot of views. Like I did one on some dude who was shredded on a beach,
the honey,
drinking the honey, and I was like, "Yes, spike the insulin, bro. That's how I stay lean." And I'm just like, "No, that's not actually it." And like it just got like 50k views just because it had already gone viral.
Right.
But people love it because it's almost confrontational, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my god, Josh, he's just called out this guy, man.
Exactly. I've got a lot to learn. I've got a lot. It's good. Yeah, I was talking to someone last night about it. It's good because I think it's a really positive app on the whole. In terms of like you go on it and it makes you smile.
100%. It's such a different dynamic to Instagram. I really, really believe that.
And I thought I only really dawned on me last night, but I was basically I had steak for dinner last night, which 10-minute dinner, right? It doesn't take long to sort that out. But I went into the kitchen, started watching TikTok whilst I was preparing my dinner, and I was like, I'll be eating in 10 minutes. But it was 8 o'clock, it got to 10 to 9, and I was still watching videos. I spent 50 minutes just scrolling through. And I realised it's because you can't escape unless you fully exit the app. Because they just keeps playing at you. Yeah, and if you don't like it, you swipe to the next one, but then you like it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just genius. Because whereas Instagram, it's like, it's still. So you're like, well, I'm done now. Just keeps coming. Yeah. And obviously it learns very well, and I get very stuck in, even Instagram is learning me better now because I just keep getting the dog videos coming up and I love them. Yeah. Barking at your dog and I just think they're great, mate. They make me smile.
It is. TikTok is Tinder, really. It's like a sort of social media Tinder for
your entertainment.
For content
Tinder curated to your preferences.
Yeah.
Because they learn what's on the screen for longer. Which ones do you like? Do you follow any?
I feel like TikTok are better at Instagram than that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so
like the
much
algorithm or whatever it is.
Like the simple, and I'll actually the other day I tested it and I was like, let me linger on this one TikTok and scroll up and back, and then let me see with a few more, and it was like instant. I thought, fuck, this engine's crazy, man.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos come up that are almost telling me how it works or telling me what to do to be better at it. And one of them is stick to like the current sounds, or like if you like that Coney Island one. The other one was like choosing your niche, which is where I've not gone into it yet because I'm not that creative or like quick to like do things like that. But I need to kind of make a decision because like Louis, I don't know if you've seen Louis' TikTok. He's doing quite well because he's just doing solid bodybuilding stuff. It's like do this, not this, do this, not this. So he's adding value there. It's not necessarily entertaining, but he's adding value and he's getting some traction because I don't think there's many like steroid people on TikTok yet. So he's getting blasted, which is obviously great for the algorithm. So he doesn't care. Yeah. In my head, I want to be like a dancer or like a lip syncer or a joker on it or a pranker because they're the videos I enjoy. But I know I've not got any of that in the locker.
I think you could.
So I'm like,
you got to sit down and think about it.
That
fixed mindset.
But then you're also again backing yourself into a corner of like feeling like you're pressured to do a certain thing. Like that's the whole. I didn't want to get into that. Like if I want to go and do a Coney Island TikTok, or if I want to actually do a chest and triceps workout.
Yeah.
I don't want.
Yeah, it is fixed. I just saw a TikTok that said like choose your niche and like stick to it. So TikTok learns who to show your thing to. But you're right, it makes sense. It's
I do definitely feel like that's work for like YouTube as well. Like I do instantly like my full day of eating, same as your full day of eating, man. They just rock it, didn't they?
Every single time.
It's like I like doing them, but like I don't want to constantly have a full day of eating. You know, it's annoying.
That's where the algorithm gets hard because, as a content creator, because sometimes the work that you're most proud of or the work that you thought the most of doesn't get that reward.
100%.
So then you don't want to go chase it, you know. And the things that get the rewards are like stuff I can't do. I can't, especially as a bodybuilder, like I can't go to the fucking racetrack, back home to the best restaurant you've seen, to this, to that, every single day, because I do the same shit every day. So I can't live like what the algorithms kind of.
Who's this? Have you seen this massive bloke who's getting like millions of views?
Noel,
Daddy
like, Noel.
What the? Even his shorts are getting millions of views, and I'm like,
let me talk to you about
SEO wise, it's just like,
who is it? I don't know.
He's a South African guy. He's you'll recognize him as soon as you see him, but his ratios for subscribers to views,
it's insane. I don't know what's happened.
Insanity. Like he is levels above everyone. He has just figured out the algorithm for whatever it is.
But they're like he bucks because they're like 3-minute videos.
Yeah, literally.
And you know, I think his the recent one last week was like he had a steroid needle in his mouth. And then I think Brandon then hopped onto it, and then it's like, yeah. So while I feel like sometimes it's just a case of pot luck with just right. Let's latch on to this particular YouTuber, and because I spoke to Antoine, you know, the French Gymshark guy today,
really,
and it clocked on me when my viewers started. You right?
Yeah, sorry.
You are going on holiday. If you want to get that,
no, I know who it is.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't.
It dawned upon me that when I started stagnating in terms of my subscribers is when I pulled all of my videos off, which was back in that classic show, and it just clicked when I was speaking to him today, and I was like, I lost 7 million views because I pulled off PCT videos, testosterone, how to inject.
Because you had the one.
Because I was
one chance left, wasn't it?
So close to that strike, and I was like, oh fuck, that's why it stopped. So I'm thinking now it's just, you know what I mean, it's almost like resetting again.
Can you two break that down? Because I was talking to, it was on Gigi's last day with me the other week, and I was thinking about like my content going forward and what I want to do. I've not really done much steroid or anabolic stuff, but obviously I was looking at your page and I was looking at your page. You've got a lot of, there's like ones of you literally injecting in your arm, and I remember like you took all yours down. What's the difference?
Luck, mate.
Yeah, so I've been pinged before. By pinged means you've broken the community guidelines. It was a little bit before they brought in the new stringent rules, which I think have actually helped the anabolic scene a little bit. And I don't know what I was doing, but the ones where I don't actually put the needle in my arm, like it actually just like it cuts before, like I do show steroids on the screen, but I don't actually show it going in.
Right.
Which obviously you can't show people I don't think you can show people taking the drugs.
No.
But as long as once the new stringent rules came in, and you have to set your AdSense, Like you can literally say what you say in the video. So I say, when I talk about drugs, I say I'm talking about drugs in an educational manner. So therefore, the ads that get put on that will be more curated towards drugs or whatever I'm talking about, rather than someone getting pissed off that they've just been advertised on someone talking about steroids and then like a baby company, and then I get a strike. So they've kind of made it a little bit easier for people. But I was petrified for ages, and I used to ask Brandon all the time, why can you just do whatever you want and like get millions of views on all these things and I get pinged? But I only got pinged once, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to give it a chance. If I get done once more, then I'll have to probably take them down as well. Right. Just in case they get caught later down the line.
Yeah, it's annoying. Because I reckon if I continued on that trajectory that I was on when I was talking about steroids, I reckon I'd have been on 100k by now.
Oh,
it was wild, man. We went from like 15k to 20k, 25, 30k. I was like, oh my God, man, this is snowballing, man. I couldn't believe it. And then
because your videos were largely saying, this is the cycle I'm doing.
I was one of the first people to do it.
Just I was on YouTube. Mate, I was talking about everything: gyno, estrogen, test, PCT, side effects. Like I was showing jabbing my ass and stuff. Did like little mini series where I documented my usage, and it was just getting so much traction, man. And then just bang, overnight 2 strikes, and I thought one more.
Yeah, you get 3 strikes. 3 strikes, lose your count, done.
Yeah, and it's not even a case of having to go and have a meeting and saying, can I get it back? It's gone. It gets deleted. Like, I think KSI's second channel is about to get deleted, and he can't unless KSI, you know, probably.
Bit different for KSI, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, he still can't. They can't get it back. Like they won't be able to get it back. It's not. It's just you're gone, and there's no question about it, which is a fucking. You know, it's a big shame. So yeah, it's almost like restarting again. And the fact that I'm now going into like quote unquote lifestyle flow stuff is a big reset. So which is cool. You just have to flip your mindset to the I flip my mindset now, and I imagine myself as a small time YouTuber. So when I see videos hit 10k, I'm like, wow, amazing. I've had to dip back into that mindset, which is, you know, it's all right.
But also there was a massive positive to that thing, wasn't there? And that was what your membership site was born out of course. And obviously that,
of course,
everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. So
it's interesting to see and like understand that a bit like, under the skin of that process.
Yeah, because without, you know, if I didn't have the member site, there's no way I'd be able to monetize the YouTube views and videos like that way. Like,
or not to that extent.
No chance. Not 4,000 members paying like £5. No way. But yeah, it's that's what Anton asked today. He said, where would you be without, you know, starting your YouTube on steroids? And I said, good question. I don't know where I'd be.
GNC, mate.
Probably still be in GNC, like a manager or some shit. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
Floor manager.
But yeah, no, it's interesting to see the new scene of YouTubers come through. It's mad. But I'm just now trying my best as possible to get those TikTok views into Instagram or.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, I'm thinking I don't know if like start putting like a YouTube watermark on my TikToks.
Okay. You normally see the TikTok watermark on everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'd be worth it. I think anything that gets your name out there a little bit more is. I find it difficult. I mean, we sit here and we've got like whatever 50,000 subscribers. Me and Tom, like it's still uphill battle at all times. A constant like battle with yourself of like, why is that video not done well? Yeah. Why is this one done good? And like when you're doing 3 videos a week or a video every single week, like you've got that 1 to 3 chances every single week to make it go. And if it doesn't happen for months and end, you're like, fuck. And that's what's happened. Yeah. We were talking about it for ages. Like, what's happened? Where am I shit now? Why are people not showing my channel? Yeah. Am I like people just change their mind on me? Like it is difficult at all stages, which is why I always say try and stick to content that you do want to make, because people eventually will stick around.
Yeah, there was one of the content creators did a really good video and said at the moment the best thing to do is to, if you're a YouTuber listening to this, go onto your videos, click the most popular and top 10, recreate them and do them again. Yeah. Because it will bump. Because my modafinil video is still on algorithm.
I bet it is.
So I messaged Nick and I was like, can I get some modafinil in? Do like a modafinil part 2 video and see how that does. Do like another transformation video and things like that just to keep current. But then we'll see. I think it's weird times for a lot of people. Look, like COVID restrictions, look like coming back in. It's the first chance with their families. It's, I think the public kind of emotion towards fitness and goals is not really there at the moment, the forefront of their their mind. I think we're going to dip back into a stereotypical January boom. So we have to be like on it at that point from fitness.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What about coaching and things like that? Have you seen numbers increase or decrease?
I was talking to, it might have been actually you, Josh, the other day when we went for dinner.
Yeah,
I was just saying, I think I've like hit a number now, and it kind of sits within that bracket, and that's a number that I'm fine with. I'm very happy with it. And actually, the content as I progress as a coach, like my client base gets more quality, if you like. I'm now taking clients on that are British champions already. So that's exciting for me because that puts me into, or at least gives me that idea of, that's what I always wanted to do, like be the best IFBB pro men's physique or classic physique, whatever coach that there was. That was always the mission, and kind of I guess still is, which is an interesting one because it makes my job more enjoyable. And actually, something I was talking to someone else about the other day was like, I think when you're self-employed and you're like entrepreneurial, it's really easy to lose sight of that like progression model of life. So when I go back to when I was in John Lewis, right? I had one job on one wage for 2 years. I had another job on the same wage for a year, and then the next job, and then obviously I left. When you go self-employed, them shackles are gone. So you're constantly looking to earn more money, or what can I do to get another £1,000, another £2,000 next month? And I think actually I've come to a point where I'm like, I might need to just sit where I am for a bit and just like solidify and stop thinking about what's all this other stuff I can do, and actually just concentrate on like the coaching brand. And if that is earning X amount a year for the next 2 years, like that's all right. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to and I think that's quite an interesting idea. Because I'm sure we all relate to like always looking for that next thing and like how can I level up again, but actually just sitting somewhere for a bit is probably a good idea, because then you refine the services, refine your reputation and your authority in that area. So I think that's probably something I'm going to think about doing more so, rather than keep trying to push more numbers, just like concentrate on what I've got.
Absolutely. And it's also a return for your own fucking happiness and you know, your own health, both mental and physical. Like when I spoke about Gigi when he came on board, the numbers on the member site and the content that's being pumped out was like mad. But then I also look back and I was earning X amount per month, but in that particular state I wasn't fucking happy, man. I was fixated on the fact that if I'd done like a 15k month and I'd dip below that, then I'd start panicking. And you think, well, hold on, what? It was a 15 grand month.
Yeah, it's mental.
You know, and then like I did like a clothing drop, and then it went up to like fucking 20 odd, and then I was like, I've got to do another clothing drop. I have to, and it's like,
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
You just have to, and now I'm like back down to not low numbers, but back down to sort of almost where I first started, and I feel fucking happy and comfortable. Whenever it's given me a chance to create more and plan long term, as opposed to be very frantic and like I've got to release this and release that. So with the Ibiza Classic being released the end of March, April time, it's now giving me the opportunity to build something even stronger. Do you know what I mean? Turn it into like almost like a brand in itself, go onto Fiverr and get different variations of logo designs and things like that. So I definitely think there needs to be that level of I mean, you relate that to the other day when you was talking about bulking, didn't you? That you need to be you need to set yourself in that zone whereby you're just maintaining for a period of time, because you can't be off season, on season, off season, on season. There needs to be that level of just flatlining a little bit.
Yeah, I just think it's really an interesting concept that had only really dawned on me the other day when I thought about it. It's like it's actually normal to earn the same amount of money for a good period of time, and then something comes along.
People do it all their lives, you know.
Yeah,
of course. Like I think my dad is he's taking like voluntary redundancy next year, but I went for breakfast with him the other day, and he was like, I can't get paid anymore. He's like, I think one of their only A1 Ofsted like top teachers, and he hit that pay threshold limit years ago. Like, he's just been earning the same amount for years, and I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It just comes down to how you manage your own finances, I suppose, during that particular time.
Yeah,
I'll play devil's advocate, because I think I'm probably a different mentality. Like I feel that pressure to constantly improve and to
because you said that in the previous podcast, didn't you? That you're like sort of hell bent on
like because I know that it's going to give me the life that I need to have or that I want to have. I also feel like I've got pretty good balance as well. Like I'm not necessarily sacrificing friends, family, X, Y, and Z to kind of get where I need to go, which has been very, very fortunate. Maybe it'll happen at one point, but like I feel that pressure to be better every month. I feel that pressure to do better. Doesn't necessarily need to be in the form of like, right, I earn X this month, it has to beat this number. I'm not so worried about that, but more just knowing that I'm making steps in my future and things are progressing. So for example, with 1MR, like I'm bored of the fucking cuffs now. Like they do great, but I need the next thing. So I did the ropes. The ropes are gonna kill it. They've killed it. They're ingenious idea and they work so well. Right, I'm getting the itch for the next thing, and I think that is what is ultimately going to get me to where I need to go, or where my goal lies with my business, to be able to touch more people, having that feeling of like I need to constantly to press. But if that feeling like takes over my life or takes over your life, then there's probably some, for me anyway, some room for some consolidation. And I think I've got a realistic expectation of how much that you can improve and how much you can go to the next step. Like the next step isn't always there. And over the last 4 years, that's what I've learned. Like as much as I get that itch and that anxiety of being stagnant, that's the stagnant anxiety. I know that those periods of time, that consolidation, are needed to maybe press on the walls of anxiety, maybe press on give you that pressure to be able to shake the box, to be able to produce the next thing,
That's what I'm getting at. So I'm going to like challenge you back, but I think you're just going to agree with it. I guess my point is like I'm much younger in this like actual journey than you. Obviously, I only quit my job like a year ago. Yeah. So for me, I'm like, there's been like real good constant growth, and I think I'm now in a place where, I'd like to think I'm in a place where you are, or no, not where you are, where you've been, whereby it was coaching and just like YouTube, and then obviously you've had an idea of like 1MR, and then that's come along, and that, because really for you, I would say, this is a guess, but for me, I would say that 1MR is the thing that could take you to the moon. Like that's what's going to really like level you up.
I agree.
Because coaching, there's a ceiling, right? Like,
exactly.
We've kind of done the same thing in terms of coaching. Like we fill our numbers up, and then we've tried to get another coach. I think it's actually a really hard and slow process to like build a brand where so many people just want to be a part of Team Brightman. They actually just want to work with me,
exactly,
or a lot of people do. And I've only got so many hours in the day, and I think that's what I was kind of getting at. I was like, I've kind of reached a number or a roundabout figure that I want to work with. Yeah. Because beyond there, I'm like, I experience burnout every day. I can only get up at so early and then work, and then I just want to go and train. And to be honest, after that, I kind of want to chill out because I work probably every day a little bit.
You're also a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah, exactly. So there's other things on the table. So I guess I'm probably in that consolidation phase now, where I'm like, I do challenge myself a lot of the time to think, what is it that's going to take me to that next level that I've not found yet? And that's like, that's fine.
100%.
But I agree with what you're saying. In terms of like, I definitely feel that anxiety. I think what I've learned, and probably comes from as well, like that corporate background. So a lot of my job when I was at John Lewis was about looking at the last week, how was that performance? And then obviously when that month is over, you look at the month, then you look at the period, which is 3 months, then you look at the year. And I guess for me, it's about thinking, okay, am I doing better than last year or like last quarter? And rather than like, oh, the month has to be better.
Rather than 2 years ago.
Yeah. And that, I think that probably is maybe a bit more healthy. But it's interesting what you say about like a clothing drop, because then you see a big spike and you're like, oh, what happened last year, this month? But yeah, no, it's interesting. I think it's just an interesting topic to talk about.
Yeah. Go on. Because I was going to say, I have that, because I've taken a bit of not a back seat, but a bit of a nonchalant kind of take on everything the last few months. I'm now getting that burning desire to be like a fucking monster next year. I keep thinking, right, now I'm kind of like comfortable being the position I'm in now, relationship wise. I'm like, why don't I just see what happens if I do just take it to the next level and just fucking be a monster, man. Up at 5 a.m, networking, meetings, app development, this, that, clothing, bang. And there's definitely a burning desire to see what it feels like. Because I feel like when you mentioned about the being comfortable just being stable, I'm coming towards the end of that now. I'm like, right, I feel refreshed. I feel mentally in a much stronger position, and wonder what we can do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's nice to go in and out of that mindset.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's very good.
I think everyone's length of period within that mindset is going to be different. You know, some people are going to have shorter patience. Some people are going to be. I wish I was content in those consolidation phases, because it doesn't feel good.
No.
I get periods. I'm like, hey, you know, what am I doing? Talking to my girlfriend, I'm like, I need something else. Or what is it? And I'd get that feeling of uneasiness, which is like from the start to finish of that consolidation phase, where I'd much rather know, right, we've done really well this year. Let me have my consolidation phase, however long that is, and actually
a week,
1
week in Mauritius,
whatever. Literally 10 days in Mauritius.
10 days,
and then just like be content with that, and be content that, or learn to identify that it's that period of time.
Yeah,
I think that's a skill.
Because I initially planned. So throughout the prep, I was putting money aside. Basically, I was putting a couple bag just for a rainy day, and then I set myself. I said it's only going to be like a few weeks post show, and then I'll be back to grinding, and it turned into like, I'd say, a good 3 months, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm loving it. And I only decided to go back in, started, making inroads on the Flow Instagram page, the website, redesigning the member site, the videos. I only did that when I felt like I was ready to do it. Because I think if you, in a burnout phase, you're aware of the time ticking by and you're like, right, I need to start. It's like you can't go back in to something, forcing yourself, because inevitably, it's a bit like a deload. If you're knackered, if you have a 5-day deload and you're still knackered, probably not best to go in the gym for like another few days.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely that desire to just see what would happen if you are ruthless in business, and I think there's a definite. I think we're all in a position now whereby we can probably really leap quite far forward if we.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the effects of the podcast, and then like our own individual brands increasing is exciting. Very, very exciting.
Question that's probably going to relate to the viewers a little bit more, because I appreciate we're probably in quite a privileged position, so we can consolidate.
Of course.
We can take a few months of zero income if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joe, what was it like when you were at John Lewis for like however many years? Did you feel like you went through periods to where you had burnout, and did you take time off, or did you just have to keep on because you had that pressure of
Great question.
someone above you?
I definitely didn't have burnout at work. I was looking back on this the other day, and I think like my most stressful periods of work were when I was like trying to get a promotion. So I think about like my work now, and it's not really stress in terms of like, I think I feel just like daily stress in terms of like, got to get the work done, otherwise I'm only cheating myself. Whereas when you're working for someone else, it was a really chilled environment, I've got to be honest. Like, it was a very good company to work for. It's true what they say, like they look after you, and it's a nice environment. But I think the majority of my stress just came from like being dissatisfied from where I was at. I literally remember like there was a promotion I really, really wanted, and probably twice actually, and I missed both of them, and I was just like absolutely like literally cried, because I was like, this was like my like ticket to just a bit more money. Like I remember when that first 2 years when I moved to London, and I was on £18,900, which translated to about 1,300 quid a month after tax. My rent was £650 for a room half the size of this room. And then I had to pay for food on top of that. And there's literally one time I remember like going back home for the weekend and then just being to mum, I don't want to go back. Like, I'm so fucking miserable. And I thought I was going to like live the dream. So I think the expectation versus reality, I literally thought like I'd get my degree and then just land in a 30 grand job and be comfortable. And it's just nothing like that. But in terms of burnout, there wasn't really any burnout. I remember when I obviously started trying to build the business, it was a case of like I was working Monday to Friday at John Lewis, but then and training. And then doing Saturday, Sunday check-ins, and then it was Friday check-ins. And then kind of fortunately, like lockdown came around, so I kind of had the chance to not have to commute and stuff, so I got a bit more time. But I don't think I experienced burnout, because I think I was just like, I was so stuck in the process of what I was doing every single day. I think back to what I did in prep, and like I'm proud of what I did, because I would like every single day was the same Monday to Friday. I would on a Sunday night prep all my meals, and I'm talking like spinach, steak, eggs, tomato, like asparagus in like a Tupperware to like then go and microwave at work.
I remember.
Followed by like turkey sausages and like beans, and I just devised a plan that made it as easy as possible for me to stay on track. But like when I think back, it's like crazy. I would get up at 5:30. I would, you know, get to gym box, a gym that I hated, do my hours cardio, whatever it was, in abs. Then I'd get ready for work, go to a job that I wasn't really passionate about, work all day, just sort of making it through the day, and then on lunchtime making sure I got my steps in, and then after work going to the gym. And when I look back, that's the craziest thing. I think that's what most people will relate to, is that like I would finish work at 5:30, 6 and be training until like 8, 7:30, and then I'd get on the train and commute home, and then I get home and it's 9. I need an hour to sort my shit out for the next day, and I just like, that makes me proud, because I'm like, that was fucking graft, like every single day, and I did that for months on end, and obviously did 2 competitive seasons like that. So I think that is where I always think, like, it's not always the things that you think are paying off in the moment, but they do eventually.
Do you miss that structure? Do you miss that routine? I certainly sometimes miss that, going into, you know, Shoreditch. I used to work from 7 till 3.
I think I probably miss having some things like dictated for me, because like that makes it really easy to do things. Yeah, I think when my back's against the wall is when I work best. So
same, 100%.
When I knew I had all these things to do and I couldn't be anywhere but the office from 8 till 4:30 used to normally do, like it forces you into that, like, oh shit, like you're like a rat in the corner, so you have to make it work. I think now, where someone, who was it I was speaking to at the weekend, they said to me that you will use all the available time you have to do a task. So he was saying to me that he leaves tasks to the last minute because it forces him just to get it done. And I was like, fuck, that's actually quite smart.
Yeah, Grace Beverley talked about that in her book a bit. It's a good ploy. I certainly feel like that helps, that works.
Because I work better when it's like urgent and important. Yeah, there's a 4-grid box where it's like urgent, important, not important. My teacher at school, he said, do things when they are important but not urgent, which is like the gold standard. But I just think I work best when it's urgent and important. Like we're setting up the Brightman 12 challenge like now, and I've had a meal plan. Like I need to make a spreadsheet that does it all automatically for us. We're starting ready to like set the things up literally like today, and Luke's like, you've still not done that sheet, and I'm like, fuck. So I just did it this morning, and then I've done all my check-ins before I've come to this podcast, so I just leave it to the last minute and then like have to get it done.
And do you still feel that as of high quality?
I did the spreadsheet this morning. I'm normally shit at these things, and I'm like, I'm fucking proud of that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But that's why I've started on making inroads on stuff for next year now, because I've never done that before. I've always left it. Even the most recent IBF Classic, I left it way too late. And I was like, well, actually, especially from a marketing perspective as well. If I've got a MyFitnessPal guide or a lifestyle guide in the bank, then I'm using that as an anchor to get them in. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, like, if you're leaving a drop last minute, people aren't really, because then what I do is like weekly live Q&As about it. Like, if you have any questions on the Ibiza Classic, we can jump on a call. Do you know what I mean? So is that element? I've never done that before. It's the first time I've done it, and I think
ahead of the game.
Yeah, of course. About emailing this as well, which is what's that girl's name that you jumped on a call with the other day?
Chelsea.
Yeah, because that's completely new to me. And she made a good point about how if you're getting these numbers without doing that, we're in quite a good position. Have you ever done email marketing?
No, but she tried to get me to do it as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm completely new to the whole idea of it.
You know why I always said no? Because I fucking delete that shit straight away.
Yeah, this is my
get out of my inbox, mate.
It's very rare that I'll ever look at during my every morning when I sit down. All I seem to do is just click the top, delete.
Yeah.
There's never really any brand, bar like maybe Preview or a brand that I feel, you know, in touch with. But then our followers feel in touch with us, so maybe do you know what I mean?
Maybe.
I think you have to like have a bit of, is it empathy? I don't know, just like a different perspective on that, because people will want to listen. Thousands of people watch your YouTube every week. Like people probably want to listen to what you have to say.
Maybe.
Same with your posts, mate. People don't just scroll past them because they comment on what you say in the post, so they are reading it. So if they get something personal, like I think it is a good shot. It's just going back onto that thing in terms of what do I do to take it to the next level. It is now I'm starting to look at like things I'm not doing yet. So it is email lists. It is. I've never done a digital ad in my life. I've never done anything like that. So, but it's still the problem with like volume. But in my head, I'm like, hang on, is that how I? go to that next level or build a brand of coaches.
Definitely, because then you can pinpoint, can't you? You can target. I know Facebook marketing has changed massively. Because back when we used to work in the SBS, it was the return rate was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
It was absolute. It was almost like free money.
Yeah, it was
you put 50 quid in.
5 you get 5 times.
Yeah, literally,
it was crazy.
We used to put like 50 quid in and get 5 bag back, and I just think almost like an NFT would do. Like at this current day, it's just mental. But I think it's changed massively, and I get sick of ads. So like, it's hard because you're like, that's me personally, but surely my personal stance on ads isn't going to be shared by the large majority of people.
Because I love a good ad.
Yeah.
I love a good targeted ad.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, it's something that I need.
Yeah.
And if you can just fill that gap for some people.
Yeah, because I started recently talking about Garmin. I want to take a switch.
Yeah, I bet you got loads.
Oh,
I'm going to get it now. I used to hide my mic because I was going to come up.
But then, even then, I was like, the fact that I was talking about Garmin and every ad, and then lo and behold, I've spent the evening researching the best Garmin watches. So there's definitely an element of it working. But every time I get a nudge from Instagram saying, "Oh, this post is doing well. Here's a whatever," you have to link. You have to have a Facebook. Yeah. I don't. Have you got a Facebook page?
Yeah, I've got one.
I need to get one. Need to get on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of research. I had a few consult calls with ad guys just for the one of my business side of things, and from my understanding, like it's a lot more complicated, and it's like an algorithm that gets smarter over time. So and like their minimum budgets are like $2,000 a month. So you put in $2,000 a month, you might get nothing back. You put in $2,000 the next month, you might get a little bit back, and then the third and the fourth month, we know who's clicking what now.
Sure. So
we're a bit more. So they've got like $6,000 to $8,000 off you before you get any money back, and then maybe I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know, maybe, but I'm gonna try it in the new year and see what happens.
Have you got a Facebook page?
Yeah, I don't often
post
like use it. I mean, I went on there the other day and I think my little bio still says like natural UK BFF. When my pictures, like I think it's me from like my first pro qualifier, which is definitely not natural. But
no, what is it? Is it a personal or is it a business one?
A bit. I've got a personal Facebook obviously, but yeah, a business page.
I need a business one,
which I've not. I need to obviously spend. It's just one of the things that's like it's right at the back of the room, so I never pull it out and look at it because it just doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah. It's good that you're having a bit of therapy. I'm glad we're doing this, gents. Yeah. Well done, man.
I don't really know how I feel about it.
What was your trigger for going to therapy? Hearing that we were having it.
Yeah, it felt left out.
Josh is well less fucked up than me, that's for sure.
I don't really know. I think there's just things in myself that I'd like to talk about on a deep level, and not really. I really want to talk with anyone else about. I think that's quite a big thing.
My problem with therapy though is when I went there the first session, I expected her to tell me everything. I expected her to tell me everything that I had a problem with, and I'd leave and I got brilliant.
Yeah.
But I didn't. She just did this weird fucking shit back.
Quite like standoffish, summarise what you're thinking, and you're like, oh, that's how I was thinking.
Well, they sort of break down, like you would say something, and then she'd try as best as possible to break down why you're feeling like that and go through the steps and how to change it. Whereas I thought I'm going in there with a list of problems and she's going to give me the answer tonight, and I'm going to go home and be happy and that never again. But it's soon. Yeah, no, it's been good. It's good that we are openly speaking about it, guys. Well done.
How many have you had, Josh?
So I did my second one Monday. Do it on Mondays.
Is it in person?
No, I did it on Zoom. Which actually doesn't live too far away, but I thought I'm happy to do it on person. I'm happy to do it on Zoom. Like a big thing why I wanted to go was because I deal with a lot of what's the word, like guilt over my incredible selfishness, and like the battle I have is I justify it by saying this is to get to my goal. This is it, like for bodybuilding specifically. So I do like, you know how it is, like you eat when we want. We go to sleep when we want. If I need to go home and do stuff, it happens, because of that. So, and in doing that, I think for so long, as well as being an only child, like I don't really think about other people, like to the point where I'm like, oh shit, I need to remember to even talk about that, message that person, or forget what Amy's done in her day, or I forget just like real basic stuff that I definitely should be taking control of and paying more attention to. But because it doesn't. Information for me seems to come in, and I'm like, does that affect my trajectory? No. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's out the head again. I feel a bit guilty about that.
Well, I was exactly the same. I suffered massively with just not empathising with anyone.
That's how I felt as well.
Or like when there was a problem, I'd be like, what? And just it was so bad. I could never do it.
That's exactly how I feel.
This year, someone asked about the Instagram or YouTube Q&A. What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself this year, like that self-reflective period that I was in, and massively showing empathy with other people, massively, because I think you only really start to experience that when you experience it yourself. So when I started feeling like proper shit, it was like, oh man, this is how she felt. Do you know what I mean? This is how I've put her through this, or I've put someone through this, and it was at that point where it really clicked for me. But I don't think you can beat yourself up about it, man. It's what I mean. It's almost nice to have gone through your life for a long period, not, you know.
I've done it all my life. Only child, never had anyone to worry about, really.
There's definitely an element of that being like quite a good thing, but then the other end is the fact that, well, it's almost unrealistic, isn't it? Like, look how much people are having to go through if you've never experienced that.
Yeah.
Like a friend of mine, when he's a friend of mine lived quite a sheltered upbringing, whereby his first sort of daunting experience, I think, was like sort of health complications with his granddad, and he got into. I was like, you're 20. You're 27 years old. This is the first bit of bad news you've had.
Yeah.
Is that your granddad's a bit ill. That's fucking. I mean, it's good going in the sense that you've never had to psychologically adapt or experience that, but at the same time, do you know what I mean?
That's like me, bro. My dad in his back 3 years ago. That's it. It's the only thing that would have swayed me emotionally, other than my parents' divorce, but I barely remember it. Yeah. I'm sure I'll remember it when I go through therapy, though, and she starts thinking it out.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. She did that. She did that about with me, and like my transition from primary school to going to a brand new school, and how the knock-on effect of me trying to impress new people at secondary school has seeped into adult life, whereby I'm constantly trying to stay with it with Instagram, and my mood gets affected if I do a post and it's not done so well. She said that all stems from you trying to be accepted as a child. And I'm like, fucking hell, yeah.
That's a sort of, it's funny. I was going to ask you how you found her, and what did you look for in finding a therapist, and what did you say to them to get them to take you on? Because I'll tell you the background. I feel like at the moment there's a real shortage of therapists, and I don't quite think that actually. So I was on, I can't remember the website. It's basically like Therapist Directory or whatever. You might well be on the same one. And I was looking for. It was kind of asking me questions like, "What do you want therapy for?" or ticking boxes. And mine is like, obviously I've been through some stuff recently, but when I'm all right and things are normal again, I just want to get a therapist to like help me find my way and help me understand my feelings better, and like you say, kind of not give me answers, but shine a light on why I think and feel certain ways. And I almost think there's like a shortage of that because I'm not clinically depressed. Yeah. So what did you put in, and how did you find them?
I did pretty much the same thing. I found it a bit harder to put what I was looking for. This is a really hard question to answer. I don't really know. I just want to feel a bit better in like everyday life, because things for me are like, fuck me, my life's 10 out of 10.
That's what I mean.
But I'm like, I don't really like feel like that. So I looked at the profiles. I kind of looked a bit like who I could relate to the most, and honestly, like, there's a list of things they deal with. I just thought which one has the most of what I want to deal with. Obviously, fuck it, we'll say what we're talking about. Obviously, the weed. Like, I smoke a lot of weed. Like, I wanted to talk about that addiction with someone as well. So I wanted someone with addiction experience as well. So yeah, she ticked a few boxes. Then we literally had a consult. Also, I wanted to pick someone who didn't have a load of availability, because it probably means they're quite good.
This is what I did. My one was like, you got it's private and instead of a waiting list.
That's why it was like Monday 1 PM. I'm like, fucking
that's interesting you said that. I was looking for that as well. There's a couple that were just available straight away, and I thought, do you really have much of a client base if you're just available tonight, for example? Yeah.
Funny thing that I learned this week as well from Louis, actually. So I said, what is it that you need to become a therapist? Because further than that, he wants to work in like counselling and stuff.
Amazing.
And he was saying you can literally finish a university degree and you can legally become a therapist there and then. Yeah. In fact, people that are studying it, in their second year, they can basically go and therapize people because they have to as part of their course. I was thinking, fucking hell. Because I was looking at the list and I was seeing like MSc, PhD. I was thinking, so do you have to? So I asked him, do you have to be a doctor and he was like, no. Yeah. Which is a bit mental, actually.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah. But just going on that, what you said in terms of like availability. But yeah, I was struggling. I'm kind of struggling to find one.
Also, you got to try it. You got to try it because you ain't gonna click it. And the woman said, like, I might not like you. You might not like me. Like she's like, we might not click. We might not gel. We might have a different philosophy and a way to get through it. I was like, all right, cool. Let's try it for 3 or 4 sessions. Like, see if we click.
Because I submitted 3 inquiries and 2 of them came back to. One of them said we're not suitable, and one of them said I haven't got the time for you.
Really? You're too messed up.
Yeah.
Imagine if no, I'm not going to say it.
Don't.
But yeah, so I've not spoken about this yet. I've just been diagnosed with OCD, ruminations, which is basically like intrusive thoughts. So this is where my like therapies come from. I spent last Monday looking for a therapist in general, because we've spoken about it before, and I had one a while ago. I don't think she was that great, and I just wanted to like have help finding my way. But that search led me on to discover some like symptoms of what I've got, and he basically said, yeah, like you've got OCD. So I'm going to be working with him initially for 6 weeks to work on that and get the tools I need to like work around that. But also, he did kind of touch. He was going to help me sort of find my way, because I feel a bit lost at times. I gave him a bit of a initial, like you say, a bit of initial consultation. Like from the outside in, and 2 years ago, I would have looked at my life now and thought, you've got everything you ever wanted.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
And yet I still feel a bit empty. And that's something that I want to like dig deep into and find out more about, because I don't actually want to be miserable, especially when I've achieved all these things I think I'm proud of.
It's annoying, isn't it? I've waking up and just being fucking miserable. It's just hate. It's just that constant like, how am I unhappy?
Yeah,
I can work
and
when
then you
I want.
feel guilty for feeling unhappy because
yeah.
you're in a very privileged position.
Of course,
it's crazy.
You think people that would give their left arm to be in our position, and I'm waking up like fucking laying around in bed.
Underwhelmed is the feeling.
I know,
it's just
mad.
like, it's one that I don't want anymore, because I don't think I should have it.
Yeah.
Of course, but then it's also, you got to be tricky, because then you're constantly seeking like a fucking high, aren't you? Like you're constantly thinking, what can I?
But I think that's what hopefully I would hope therapy would help with, is that ongoing understanding or appreciation of what you've got.
Yeah, I think it's very common.
Searching for.
I certainly felt better when I and I need to start doing it again. Really, when I was journaling about gratitude, I think that massively helps.
I do that every day,
yeah.
And again, I honestly sit there and I almost feel fake writing it.
Really?
Yeah.
In what sense?
I'm writing stuff out that I am genuinely grateful for, but I'm not feeling this like.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just me over expecting like, a bigger hit of gratuity, or maybe just the ongoing. I'm quite good at I almost forget it at the weekend, because it's what I do. So I get up, make my coffee, sit down. Before I log onto my computer, I'll write it out. And I'm just a bit like, I think part of it actually is I got, for my birthday, I got given this 5-minute journal, and it kind of dictates to you what you write. And I don't think I like it that much. I think I used to like writing my own one, where it was like my affirmations, the things I'm grateful for, how I'm feeling. That's one that this one doesn't have, and then also like a to-do list.
Yeah.
So I don't think this one is quite ticking that box, but
the mind journal one's good. That one, that's really good.
What's that got in it?
Mind journal's got, it stays consistent on the left-hand side in terms of your feelings, and then the right-hand side, it's a continual revolving question.
That's good, because it actually makes you think. Right?
Yeah, it really does. It's so good.
Because I've definitely multiple times I've written like my morning coffee.
Yeah,
and I am grateful for that. Like I genuinely fucking love it. But
no,
like,
I try my best to switch it up a little bit. Like, what's your happy place or happy time? Like I'll get like I'll look back and think I can't write that. I did that yesterday.
Because I think
I'd struggle to do that.
It's I think it's really stripping it back, and it's looking at the basic stuff as well. Like. I think I almost think I try and think too hard, and then actually I'm like, fucking hell, I was grateful for my warm bed last night.
Yeah,
like,
mate, 100%.
And then like I've smashed my thumb up, and I'm like, I'm grateful that it hurts, because it means like I'm alive and I can feel pain in my hand and stuff like that. And I do try and sort of strip it back, but
but that's common.
For granted,
it's very of course. Matt, look at us. Look at the sort of situation we're in. It's very easy and very common for us to all overlook how grateful. A lot of what position we're in when again stripping it right back, the fact that we've got access to things like clean water, like fuck man, like
I mean.
I was just chilling in the shower for about 10 minutes yesterday, then I got out and thought that's 10 minutes of hot water, man. That's do you know how many people in the world would give their like life to fucking do that? Like, come
have
on,
a hot
Tom.
shower.
Yeah, of course.
But I think if you constantly live your life like that, it's hard, man. Like I feel like you constantly live your life like, yeah, but someone else has got this. Yeah, but someone else has got that. Even if it's like someone else hasn't got hot water, what I have is like, I find constantly comparing outside of the bracket that you're in, below or up, not really a healthy practice.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. I agree. There's definitely a negative, the comparison of those that, you know, we talk about the comparison of people better than us, like you two. It's like, oh, why not look like Joe, or why not look like Josh? Vice versa for underneath. Because then what you're going to start doing, not having hot showers.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to start pulling away, because then if you start pulling away from what you're doing, then your business idea of the next 5 years takes a knock, doesn't it? Like you almost have to have a ruthless mindset and go, it's very unfortunate, but
I think you do have to kind of play your role, don't you? Because like I think it's almost I'm not going to say this, but like don't take this word for word, but it's almost like disrespectful to those people that don't have the opportunities if you don't fulfill them.
Exactly,
like if you waste a good life, right? If you throw away a good life, then what the fuck are you doing?
Opportunity, yeah. It's definitely
we're just seizing our moment, you know. That's how I feel. Yeah, that's funny. I'll say it because we've avoided it, but we've all taken steroids here. We've all taken years worth of steroids. Probably me and Joe a little bit more than Tom. Never thought I'd say that, but yeah, way more than what Tom's taken.
Tom and his 7 nanomolar of tests.
Yeah, for the last 5 years.
No wonder you're not feeling great.
Yeah, no. But I that last week I bumped my dose up, and instantly I was like, not instantly, but like I thought, God, my libidos, my sleep's gone better, my head's clearer.
That's why you want to be a monster, mate, because you've been like a mouse. For the last,
I know,
like,
but it's mad to. I need to speak to Dean about that, like the knock-on effect of changing dose for an enanthate ester would be 2 weeks, wouldn't it? So to have a
feel it.
Yeah.
No. All testosterone will peak within 24 hours, so you will. Technically, you could be able to feel it, but your serum levels will start to peak after.
Yeah. Because I thought, fuck, surely it's not this quick that I've jabbed on Monday, jabbed a good dose on Monday to get back up into kind of mid to high. And by the end of the week, I was like, fucking what?
Well, it would be, wouldn't it? Because it's like that, but then the spike.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's working its way up.
Yeah.
I was like, fucking Superman. I was motivated. I was like, fuck this. Like my current situation, I was like, what am I getting upset about? I thought, do you know what I mean? It's what
heart of ice again.
Yeah.
So I bring it up because as I was talking to this therapist, she goes, "Did you take any drugs?" Because I mentioned weed in the first one. I didn't mention the steroids. I mentioned I was a professional bodybuilder. Most normies out there don't go, "Oh, steroids." They just go, "Oh, you go to the gym." She goes, "Do you take any of the recreational drugs?" I was like, explain the rave, explain stuff like that very infrequently. I was like, "I also take steroids." She goes, "How often?" I was like, "I've been on steroids for the last 3 years." And she's like, "What are the impact of steroids?" Like, she's not like well versed, but she knows enough. Like, what do you think the impacts of steroids are? I'm like, well, we know that they actually decrease the grey matter in your brains, which is your reaction time. So you will like have increased reaction. We also know that taking testosterone actually fucking feels good. So when it feels good, you're dumping dopamine, you're dumping serotonin into your body. Does that like lead to a point where if you know you hear people that come off cycle, they feel slightly depressed because they're not hitting as much serotonin? I wonder, and a big reason why I went to therapy was because I feel like my needle doesn't move too much. This is neutral, and like something happens and I'm back to normal. This is horrible, but like when Amy comes in, she tells me something amazing's happened at work. I'm like, that's cool, back to normal, you know. And it takes something big to really move me to a positive, or something big to move me negative. Even small negative things, I'm like, fuck, it doesn't matter. It's got to be something serious to move it down. And I often wonder that is it the persistent use of steroids at high doses that have potentially malfunctioned that needle not to move as much because of the feel-good hormones that we've been dumping into our bodies.
It's like desensitization to emotion.
Yeah. I don't know if there's some chemical...
I think they're different. It'd be great to get a
biochemist or something like that.
Amazing if we could get someone on the podcast to like neurologically talk about the adaptations of them sort of things. But yeah, I definitely, since coming off that big cocktail of drugs post-show, and then kind of being more in touch with having like a social life and being more around friends and things like that, I've become well fragile-minded. Like you said, your needle, mine's like, I'm starting to empathise with everyone, man. Yeah. Like I'll be out and I'll see like an old man in a restaurant, and I think, I always felt like that. I've got some weird obsession with getting upset about seeing people eat on their own. But I'm definitely since since, well, I had my bloods done twice in a few months. One was 15 nanomolar and one was 7 nanomolar. So like that was a big drop. So could that potentially be the fact I was low testosterone being more? But my estrogen was fine. My estrogen's been in check, but I definitely feel like coming off quite a big, heavy cocktail, which when you look at it is like when you're jabbing on a frequent basis, it's almost like microdosing fucking LSD, aren't you? It's like
that's how I feel. I feel like it's my power up.
Yeah, when I was on prep and had that like injection of Tren every other day, I was like, fucking hell, I was rowdy, man. I was ready to go. And then since coming off, I've definitely been more, like wholesome, been in touch with my emotions and understanding a lot more people. So I definitely think there's scope. I'd love to speak to someone about it. I'd love to get someone in and speak.
I think what's hard is that the one variable doesn't change at once. So
yeah,
and the way I explained it, I said we go through periods of times where we take more steroids than others. For periods of time when I take more steroids, I'm on a blast or a prep. Well, guess what? Everything else gets more focused.
Yeah.
So is it maybe that like I'm so focused, I get more focused, that everything outside that focus is a bit of a blur? I don't know. This is some of the conversations I'm going to be having over the next few months. But
it'd be interesting for you to if you're in a position to tell us and everyone else, I'd be very interested in that.
Don't take steroids. Is what she's saying.
yeah, it's true. Well, it's another reason for people not to take steroids if they're not serious about bodybuilding and lifting. You know, why fuck yourself up for the sake of never competing? You know,
100%. I think that's really interesting. I would be very, very keen to learn more about that. I've just sent a message into our group about seeing if we can find someone to come on here, because I think that would be a fantastic topic as well.
I'm sure there'd be people out there, mate. Definitely.
Fly Dean over.
We'll fly Dean over, yeah, Dr. Dean. Fuck me, that'd be a big podcast. That'd be a long old podcast, that. But if anyone's watching or listening to the podcast and can give us a DM if anyone knows any individuals in that particular field, it would be very interesting to get them down. I'm sure we'd be happy to pay for their flights if they're away from London. But podcast next week as well. We booked in next week.
I'm away.
Josh is away.
I come back on the 20th.
Me and Joe may do a duo. We may or may not. We shall see. But thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're listening and watching on YouTube, and we shall see you very soon.
Peace, everybody.
Ciao.